You are joining us now on IPR station 184.8, where we are discussing the recent revolution in Italy. We have two experts with us, so can you give us a little background on this 19th century revolution in Italy?
In the 19th century, Italy was not a single independent state. Instead, it was controlled by foreign forces. Northern Italy was dominated by Austrian forces. Southern Italy was controlled by the Bourbon Kingdom, and the Pope controlled central Italy.
In 1830, revolutionary spirit emerged in favour of unified Italy, which led to a series of insurrections. During the 1830s, revolts in Parma, Modena, and Papal States broke out. However, these revolts were opposed by Austrian troops. This movement towards Italian unification was known as the Italian Risorgimento, meaning rising again. It lasts from 1815 to 1870.
That's very interesting. Actually, we were very lucky to have someone who actually witnessed this. The Count Cavour joins us today to discuss this. Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you for having me.
So what did you hope was the outcome for this revolution?
My greatest desire in this conflict was to emancipate my beautiful country of Italy and to overcome all divisiveness and unite as one. So we as a nation will live to see our country be glorious and powerful and to rise above in intelligence and morality to become the best nation.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Let's go back to our expert and ask them about the causes of this revolution.
This revolutionary spirit was partially a nationalist rising against the conservative Austrian Empire. This hope to overthrow the Austrian rule inspired nationalism.
Support for the revolution was also strengthened by food shortages and unfair taxation. No class was subjected to hunger, inflated food prices, and poverty conditions.
Furthermore, the election of Pope Pius IX in 1846 contributed to the strength of the revolution. One of the Pope's first actions was the release of hundreds of political prisoners. This led to widespread support for Pius. As a result, Pius maintained his progressive stance. He questioned Italy's justice system and proposed free trade. This hunger for progressive ideals was maintained in Pius's actions and was supported by the people.
Who were the key figures and groups during this revolution?
Giuseppe Mazzini was a key figure and activist of Italian unification. He founded a nationalist group called Young Italy. Mazzini decided to form a unified democratic republic. In his essay titled Europe, Its Conditions and Prospects, Mazzini expressed,
"The nationality of the peoples has not these dangers. It can only be founded by a common effort and a common movement. Sympathy and alliance will be its result. Nationality ought only to be to humanity that which the division of labor is in a workshop, the recognized symbol of association to fulfill a special function in the European work of civilization." So what actions did Italian citizens take during the revolution?
For one, Italian citizens demanded changes be made in the structure of the government. After witnessing the strength of liberalism within Rome, others followed and demanded similar values. For example, in Sicily, citizens demanded provincial government. A large revolt forced King Ferdinand II to constitute said government.
In addition to that, Italian revolutionaries attempted to defeat foreign forces through military means. For example, King Charles Albert, the king of the Italian state Piedmont Sardinia, declared war on Austria. His army launched a full-out attack on Austria. However, Albert quickly lost because of a lack of allies and military experience. His army was defeated at the Battle of Custoza in 1848, and Austria remained in dominant power.
So ultimately, the 1848 revolution failed. What were the reasons and causes for this outcome?
For one, a lack of unified revolutionary forces permitted the formation of a movement strong enough to defeat foreign armies. Many modern revolutions feared radical individuals, for instance, therefore they lacked the solidarity to ally with their radical patriots. The social related cause of revolutions disagree with each other's ideas of how to unify Italy. For example, Mazzini decided to create a republic, the Pope supported the idea of confederation, and others decided kingdom.
So what were the long-term impacts of the Italian Revolution of 1848?
Years after the conflict, a degree of political unity was brought to Italy. Although the Italian revolutions of 1830 and 1848 ultimately failed in their goal of Italian unification, it sowed the seeds of further revolutionary movements in Italy. It culminated in a successful Risorgimento after the Second War of Italian Independence and led to a greater sense of stability within the nation. In a speech in 1861, Vittorio Emanuele I, King of Italy, stated,
"Italy herself too will become a guarantee of order and peace and will once more be an efficacious instrument of universal civilization."
Italian unification was finally completed in 1871.
So that covers the Italian Revolution. Around the same time period, Italian industrialization and the Congress of Vienna were occurring. So first of all, how was Italy impacted by this industrialization?
Well, during periods of industrialization within surrounding nations, Italy's rate of industrialization was slower than other regions. This is because Italy lacked coal and other ores valuable to many industries. However, in the late 19th century, Italy experienced rapid industrialization after the introduction of hydroelectric power. During this period, Italian inventors altered society with new practical and effective innovations.
Also, how did the Italian government and the people react to this industrialization?
The government that took over in Rome passed legislation to eliminate burdensome taxes and give work to the unemployed. Giuseppe Mazzini built a Roman people and ensured the Roman Republic was established. It attempted to improve the economic lives of the poor and unfortunate. The government gave some of the church's large hand-holdings to poor peasants. It also made prison and asylum reforms, gave freedom to the press, provided secure education, but shied away from the right to work. However, ultimately, inflation ruined the economy of the Republic.
So lastly, how did the Congress of Vienna affect Italy's geography and stability in relation to the rest of Europe?
Several factors contributed to the disunity of the Italian states following the Congress of Vienna. First, the restoration of Europe's royalty to their thrones necessitates the status quo, that is, the fractured situation of Italy to be restored. Second, the preservation of the European balance of power requires existence of buffer states, such as the Italian states and the German states. And finally, the Risorgimento was seen to be a dangerous revolutionary force by those in power.
Well, that marks the end of our segment. I just want to thank all of our listeners for tuning into this report and our experts for bringing us the story of the situation in Italy. Thank you.